Hey friends, it's market update time and I'm here with Jason. We're here in Craft Azalea Park in Winter Park, one of the most beautiful and iconic parks in Central Florida. I grew up coming here. It's on Lake Maitland. It is a beautiful January day, probably in the 70s with a nice breeze, and we are here to deliver today's market update.
Right, so we wanted to give you guys an update, not just for the month, but also for kind of what we see the market doing in 2023. And we've seen a lot of interesting developments already taking place over the last 6 months. And, obviously the market is, there it is. I'm going to keep going. So what we've seen is that the, prices have already dropped. We've seen prices go down probably 5% already. Demand has really dried up. And most of the buyers that we're talking to, most of the people in the market, the media, everybody's expecting, okay, the real estate market is crashing. We're going to see a crash in 2023. And the question is, really, how low are those prices going to go? Are they going to go a whole lot lower than where they are right now? And what we're seeing is that I've got a ton of buyers. We both do. More buyers right now on the fence than I've ever had, I think, in my entire career, that are saying, yes, I want to buy a home, but I'm going to wait 6 months. The lender that we both work with exclusively, he's got over 300 pre-qualified buyers that he said they're in the same boat. They're all waiting. They're thinking the market is going to crash, so they're waiting to buy.
Right. So why is that so significant? It's significant because we still have the demand. In Central Florida, we still have pent-up demand. We still have a shortage of homes. Right. So what is going to happen when the market starts going down and the Fed responds to that? Well, what's going to happen with that demand?
Right. So at some point, the Fed's going to have to shift gears, right? I mean, the prices can only go so low before the Fed has to respond.
Right.
And at that point, is it 10%? Is it 20%? I can't envision prices dropping 20, because if they did, the Fed would have to respond drastically. I mean, they're going to have to cut rates again. And now all of a sudden, think of the market we'll be in here, especially in Central Florida. Now prices are 10 or 20% lower. Interest rates are back down to 3-4% again, to respond to this massive drop, because that 20% drop, inflation is not going to be an issue anymore if home prices have gone down 20%.
Right. So then all those people that have been waiting are now going to buy, and then what is that going to do to prices?
So then you go back to having a another seller's market again, or another market that's being driven by low interest rates and a lot of great deals. So we don't really expect it to get that bad, though. I don't think the Fed's going to, they don't want a bad recession. They don't want things to get very bad. So I think a lot of what they're doing now is just posturing. They're talking a big game that, oh yeah, we're going to keep rates high. We're going to, we're going to raise them to over 5%. But I think what's going to happen is the Fed's going to have to shift gears. They're going to walk that back before this year's over and say, uh-oh, we probably raised rates a little too high. The market has drastically slowed. We're going to need to either pause our rate hikes, or we're going to have to maybe even move in the other direction. So, that's the question, is how long do you wait in this market to buy?
Yeah, and really there's no reason to wait.
Right.
Because you might as well go ahead and get pre-qualified. You might as well go ahead and start looking, because even if it's like a gradual thing, sellers are already willing to negotiate. There's no multiple offers situations anymore. They're much more flexible, and we're seeing prices drop already. So there really is no reason to wait. Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can go in right now and on most homes make an offer, and you're going to be the only offer. And instead of having to pay 10, 20, 30,000 over asking price, we're seeing sellers take 10, 20, 30,000 off the price.
Yeah.
So, if you're thinking of buying a home, or if you're thinking of selling, but specifically if you're a buyer, I think, we do expect there to be a little bit more downside. I mean, things are still slowing down. But I don't think it's going to last forever. I don't think there's going to be a real estate crash because of the reasons we laid out. Because at some point there's this backstop in the market that the Fed is going to have to shift gears if things get bad. And there's so much pent up demand that we're seeing right now. It's different than what I've seen in the past recession in 07, 08. So I don't think it's going to be as bad as people are predicting. So if you are thinking of buying, I would start looking now.
Right.
As
And
Laura
then
said.
if you get pre-qualified and you end up buying at a higher rate, even if rates drop by 1%,
Right, that's a great point.
it's still worth refining.
Yeah, you
My
can always
husband and I
refi.
did that. It was totally worth it. We went from a 30 to a 15-year when rates dropped. We're cutting like hundreds of thousands of dollars off of the price of our home.
Right.
So totally worth doing. So, you can keep looking and wait to lock something in when you're comfortable and then refi later on.
Yeah, that's a great point. So please reach out to us if you guys are thinking of buying or thinking of selling. We'd love to talk to you more.